You've been told buying a house means 30 years of payments, 3 decades of handing a bank a check just to keep a roof over your head. But what if your first cheap house covered that check itself from month one? Here's the flip nobody explains. The best starter homes aren't the ones you pay for. They're the ones that pay you, the ones that let you live for free. And buyers are catching on. Zillow found 39% of all home buyers now say renting out part of their home is very or extremely important. For millennials, it's over 50%. So here's the plan. 5 ways to live for free off your first cheap house, starting with the cheapest way in and ending with the one your bank will quietly fight you on. The move on rung 4 is the one I'd bet my own money on. We'll get there. I'm Dan. I've spent the last year studying exactly how someone with about $20,000 makes a first house pay for itself. Quick note, this is educational, not advice, and the rules vary by state. I call it the free roof ladder. 5 rungs. Let's climb. Rung 1, the cheapest way onto the ladder. A mobile home on land you actually own. Here's what most people get wrong. They picture a trailer in a rented lot, where you own the box but rent the dirt underneath. That's the version that loses money. The version that builds wealth is different. You buy a manufactured home that sits on land you own, and the two are titled together as real property. The moment that happens, the whole thing can be financed more like a regular house. This is the part nobody tells you. Fannie Mae runs a program called MH Advantage, and for an eligible manufactured home that counts as real property, the down payment can drop as low as 3%. 3% on a total package that, in cheaper markets, can run anywhere from $20,000 to $80,000 all in. For a first-time buyer, that's the lowest sticker price on this entire list. But here's the one red flag, and it's the whole game. If that home is not legally tied to the land as real property, you get pushed into something called a chattel loan. Higher rate, more cash down, weaker resale. The sticker price looks cheap, but the loan becomes the expensive part. Dan's take? Cheapest door on the list. Just make sure you're buying dirt and house together. Rung 2. And this is the one the whole live for free promise rests on. House hacking with an FHA loan. Here's how it works, simply. The FHA, the government's first-time buyer loan program, lets an owner-occupant buy a 2, 3, or 4-unit property with just 3.5% down. The only catch, you have to live in one of the units yourself, as your primary home, for at least 12 months. You live in one door, you rent out the others, and their rent goes straight at your mortgage. Here's a number that surprises people. The FHA just set its 2026 loan limits, and in lower-cost areas, an owner-occupant can borrow up to $693,000 on a 2-unit. You will never need anywhere near that much for a cheap duplex. But it tells you the door is wide open. Picture this. Dan has $21,400 saved. In a small Midwest city, he finds a tired-looking duplex listed around $180,000. 3.5% down on that is $6,300. That leaves Dan real money for closing costs and a repair cushion, which matters, because this is his first rental property. And first deals always surprise you. And Dan's first hunt was not smooth. The first duplex he loved had a cracked main sewer line, so he walked. The second one, the seller wanted fantasy rent on paper that the numbers just didn't support, so he walked again. The third one penciled out with honest, conservative rents, and that became his house. Walking away twice is what got him the right deal. He moves into one side. He rents the other for about $1,100 a month. Now here's the lender move most beginners miss. Banks will often count 75% of that market rent to help you qualify in the first place. So the rent doesn't just pay the mortgage down, it helps you get the mortgage. On a cheap duplex, that one other door can cover a large share of the entire payment, and Dan's own housing cost lands near zero. On a bigger small multi, the math gets even friendlier. Picture $2,400 a month in total rent across the units. At that 75% rule, a lender will credit you with $1,800 of it. That's $1,800 a month, working for your loan instead of against you. One quick rule. On 3 and 4 unit buildings, the FHA adds a tougher math test, the self-sufficiency test, where the rents basically have to carry the whole payment by themselves. Duplexes are exempt, which is exactly why a 2-unit is the friendliest place to start. And the red flag? Fantasy rents. The biggest mistake first-timers make is using the rent they hope for instead of the rent an appraiser will actually back. A deal can look perfect on a listing site and still fail the bank's math. Use real numbers. Always. Rung 3. Same idea, different engine. The live-in flip. This one is for the person who'd rather not share a wall with a tenant. Instead of renting out a unit, you buy one cheap house that needs cosmetic work, you live in it, and you fix it up slowly while you live there. Then, when you sell, the tax code hands you something that almost feels unfair. Here's the rule, straight from the IRS. If you own and live in a home as your main residence for at least 2 of the previous 5 years, you can exclude up to $250,000 of profit from taxes when you sell. Married? Filing jointly? That number doubles to $500,000. Tax-free. That is not a loophole. That is the law, written for exactly this. So picture Dan again, with that same $21,400. He buys a dated little house, lives in it about 2 years, and spends his weekends repainting, refinishing, swapping out tired fixtures. He's not paying rent anywhere else because he lives in the project. His only housing cost is a mortgage he's slowly turning into equity. And here's the quiet magic of it. 2 years later, the value he built with his own hands can walk out the door with him, and the IRS doesn't take a cut. The timeline matters. 2 years isn't random. It's the minimum to clear that ownership and use test, and it gives you room to spread the work and the spending over time. One more thing to know, you generally can't use this exclusion if you already used it on another home sale in the last 2 years. The red flag here is brutal if you miss it. A cheap cosmetic fixer is a gift. A cheap house with foundation, roof, sewer, or electrical problems is a money pit wearing a disguise. Get the inspection. Pay for it. That single report is the difference between a tax-free payday and a 2-year headache. Now, before we get to Rung 4, I have to be honest with you. None of this is free, the way a clickbait title pretends. House hacking means being a landlord, and tenants call on Sundays. Live-in flips mean living in a construction zone for a while. I've watched people rush in, skip the inspection, underestimate repairs by $10,000 or $15,000, and turn a smart move into a stressful one. The fix is boring, but it works. Budget a real repair cushion. Always run conservative rents. Never waive the inspection just to win a deal. Do that, and Rung 4 is where this gets genuinely exciting. Rung 4, the one I'd build a whole separate video around, and probably will. The ADU cash flow play. ADU stands for Accessory Dwelling Unit. In plain English, it's a second small home on a lot that already has a house. A backyard cottage, a converted garage, a little unit over the driveway. You take one cheap house, and you turn it into 2 rent checks without ever buying a second property. Here's where it gets real. A 2026 cost breakdown out of California put a detached unit of around 500 square feet at roughly $150,000 to build. A garage conversion can start near $90,000. Now, that sounds like a lot against a cheap house. But California also caps certain fees, charging no impact fees at all on units of 750 square feet or smaller. And the states that have made this the easiest are California, Oregon, and Washington. Picture the math Dan runs a few years in. Once he already owns a cheap house, he builds a small unit out back. Say it rents for around $1,100 a month. That's roughly $13,200 a year coming in before expenses, on land he already owned. The payback comes from one simple idea. Total cost divided by the yearly net rent. The faster that unit fills, the faster it pays for itself, and every year after that is income building real wealth. But the red flag on this one is local, and it's sharp: zoning. Some cities welcome ADUs. Others bury you in parking rules, setbacks, and owner-occupancy requirements that say you have to live on site. The rule that's true in one city can be flat illegal one town over. So before you fall in love with a backyard cottage, you pull up your city's code, or you call the planning desk. Get the yes in writing first, then build. Rung 5, the top of the ladder, the one your bank will quietly fight you on. Buying with an assumable mortgage. Here's the secret hiding in plain sight. When someone bought a house a few years back at a rock-bottom interest rate, that low rate can sometimes be inherited by the next buyer. HUD confirms that every FHA-insured single-family loan is assumable, meaning a qualified buyer can take over the seller's existing mortgage, subject to the lender's approval. VA and USDA loans are assumable too. you're not getting today's rate. You're stepping into yesterday's much cheaper one. So why does almost nobody do this? Two reasons. First, the gap. Say a seller wants $220,000, but the loan you're assuming has a balance of only $165,000. That difference, $55,000, is what you have to cover with cash or a second loan. That's the real hurdle. Second, and this is the part that stuns people, most buyers and most agents never even ask. Assumable loans don't show up neatly in a search. Dan almost scrolled right past one himself, until two little words in the listing notes stopped him. Assumable and low-rate loan. So you have to hunt for them. Then you ask the listing agent 3 questions. What's the current balance? What's the rate? And has the lender started the approval yet? One more thing. The lender is supposed to finish that assumption review within about 45 days. The red flag is simply running out of gap cash. If you fall in love with a low rate but can't bridge the difference between price and balance, the deal dies at the closing table. Know your gap number before you ever make the offer. So there it is, 5 rungs on the free roof ladder. The mobile home on owned land, the lowest cost way in. The FHA duplex, where the other door pays your mortgage. The live-in flip, with its tax-free payday. The ADU, that turns one house into 2 rent checks. And the assumable mortgage, where you inherit somebody else's cheap rate. Stack any one of them on a cheap house, and the thing that used to be your biggest bill starts covering itself. If you forced me to pick just one to start studying tonight, it's rung 4, the ADU. Because it's the one move that works even after you've already bought, and it builds income on land you already own. That's why I'm doing a full breakdown of it next, showing exactly how the numbers, the zoning, and the payback really work, from start to finish. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Now I want to hear from you. Which rung are you climbing first? Drop the number 1 through 5 in the comments. I'll deep dive whichever one gets the most votes. And one last reminder, because real estate is regulated for a reason. Everything in this video is educational, not legal or financial advice, and the rules genuinely vary by state. So talk to a licensed pro before you make a move. Your first cheap house does not have to be a bill. With the right rung, it can be the thing that finally lets you live for free.